everyone, my name is Vina, aka Miss WC Reader, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my March reading wrap-up part 2. So I'm actually very glad that I had enough foresight to sit down and film the first half, so now we can get to the second half of how the month went. So this is in no particular order, like I just kind of have my books all types of scattered. So I have Just Like You by Anne Winter, illustrated by Letitia Moreno. And I have No More Sleeping In by Anne Winter, illustrated by Letitia Moreno. I did a little reel on Instagram. These are just some cute board books that I was sent by Little Bee Books, and they're fun for toddlers. You know, they get to look at the pictures. The story is really simple. It's about a rambunctious toddler who doesn't want to give their family the chance to sleep in this one. And in this one, they're just trying to emulate the stuff that their parents does, even though it causes a little bit of a mess. Fun times. I am actually passing them along to my niece. Well, actually, so they were kind enough to give me 2 of these, of this one. So I passed one along to my niece, and then I have a cousin who had a baby, but right now she's in Florida throughout the next month with her daughter's grandparents. So when she comes back closer, then I'll mail it to her house. Then we have the exciting conclusion to the Maya and the Rising Dark series. This is Maya and the Lord of Shadows. So all series long we have been building up to the big battle between Maya and the Lord of Shadows. Like, now she and her friends are a little bit more comfortable in their powers. They're finding that the veil can no longer be repaired, so something definitely needs to be done. And there are a couple of people who don't have powers, but are also noticing that people around her school do have powers, so they're trying to figure out that situation. So there's a lot going on here, but overall it was a good time and a fitting conclusion. Then I have Blue Stars Mission 1, The Vice Principal Problem. This is the first in a graphic novel series. I really enjoyed this one. I had no doubts I was going to. I feel like the middle grade novels have mostly been hits for me. It's some of the YA ones that have been a little bit hit and miss. But I liked this one. It had some stuff I wasn't expecting. So we're following these 2 girls and their cousins. One grew up in Oklahoma with her Muskogee tribe on her mom's side, and now she's moved to Urbanopolis, and they're living with her grandmother while her parents like save up money to get their own place. The other one, her parents are in the military, so right now they're on active duty, and both of them, and they can't take her with, so that's why she was sent to live with grandma. So they're both in this big city. They've never been in that type of environment before. They're both starting a new middle school together, and they don't really know each other well because it's been years and years since they've seen each other. And so it's interesting to see that cousin dynamic, because, you know, when you're younger, like, sometimes every little thing about your cousin just annoys you. But I really feel like cousins are your first best friends and like your closest friends, like, because they're like the friends who are always there for you. And so I loved seeing that type of relationship portrayed in books, because it had a few things that were on my checklist of things I wanted to see more of. So the first was children who have military parents, just because I know so many people, whether they have a parent who is active duty or whether their parent used to serve in the military, like they have that connection, and we don't really see that too much in books. So I want those kids to have something too. And then also children who are being raised by their grandmother. Know so many people, and especially in my family, who have that experience. And then it's just a fun story about girls navigating middle school. So in this one, as it's called, The Vice Principal Problem, they're having a problem with the vice principal, and with the vice principal, he's cutting funding of all the fun activities and clubs and stuff so that he can have more detention. Like, he wants to bring these portable classrooms in that are basically like jail cells, just to have detention. And he's trying to figure out ways to give everybody detention. So they realize that they have to use their voice and fight against it. But then they also realize, you know what, sometimes just your words can't do anything, and you kind of have to go undercover and expose some people. So I actually really appreciated that. They didn't just take the use your voice way out. They got to be a little sneaky with it too, hence the mission part. And I am looking forward to book 2. And I'm actually going to pass this one along to my niece because she will really enjoy this one. Lore of the Wild by Annalee Sabrana. So I was skeptical about this one, and I had every right to be. I actually thought I was going to like it more than I did, and I did not. I ended up rating this one like a 1 star because I was going to give it a 2, but then I felt giving it a 2 was overly generous, especially since I had to basically skim the last 20%. So I saw like Heather talking about this earlier, and she said in her wrap up she doesn't understand how this one went from originally being published indie to being picked up by trad, and I do. Like, clearly they saw that it was written by a bookstagrammer slash TikToker who has a big following. It was getting a lot of attention and pre-orders were coming in, so that's why they decided to pick it up, to ride the hype of it. But like, I don't feel like her publisher actually did any type of editing here, because like there were so many plot holes. It was the sentences were so choppy. The characterization was a mess. Like, this book was a mess. It felt like draft 1. It needed so much more editing. I wasn't sure what kind of story she was trying to tell here. So we're supposed to be following Lore, who is this human living in this world of fae, and people don't know in this world, don't know where the humans came from. They just magically ended up in this world. I guess the explanation is supposed to come in book 2, but I'm not planning on reading book 2. But anyway, Laura gets captured, which should be a very scary thing considering people are getting captured and like bad things are happening to them. But it's like la da 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 da. Once she gets captured, she is doing farmers market runs all the time while being held in captivity, and she's just living the good life, reading fun books. Like, I hate when books are meta like this, and this one was a very meta one. She was reading romantasy about fae in this romantasy about fae. Like, and I hated that for a number of reasons. I hate that meta shit, but also this book was giving urban fantasy so many times, and this is not an urban fantasy. Like, this is secondary world. So we're supposed to be in this enchanted forest type of situation, but we're going on farmer's market run. But she's obsessed with coffee and leggings like a suburban housewife. Like, it was weird. And it didn't flow. I didn't get the vibes. And honestly, I would have forgiven all of this book since, because like, there was a portion where she went to basically ye olde beauty salon to get curling cream because she ran out of hair products while on the run from the dark fae. Like, this is the nonsense I'm talking about. So I would have forgiven that had the romance been good, because she has 2 love interests, and still I feel like the bag was fumbled here because neither one of them were interesting. She had chemistry with neither one of them. Like, this book was a whole lot of wasted potential, and honestly the most beautiful thing about it was the cover. I will link my more cohesive written review down below. But overall, like, this wasn't vibing for me. It's crazy because I also tried to read Faybound this month, but I ended up DNFing Faybound like 2 chapters in because I just wasn't vibing with the voice, and something about that author and the way she writes just does not connect with me. So I was like, I'm not going to waste my time, because I'll just read Lore of the Wilds, hoping the Wilds would be better, and it was not. And then I hear like Faybound has some kinds of like similar sounding issues from the reviews I was hearing, and I'm like, oh, well, it's a good thing I put that one down. So I read Scorpions. It's by Rachel Hall. It's one of those Amazon Prime reading novellas, and I'll be honest, I have yet to read a Prime novella that was actually good. These books just, the premise might be interesting, but I feel like there's never enough page space to develop them. And I can't even really tell you what this one was about. Like, I know she was working as a caregiver, I believe, for an older man after she had went to college years ago, and then she couldn't afford it, her mom got sick and she had to drop out to take care of her. So she's not living the life that she wanted to live. And she's taking care of this man. He dies, and she finds this letter where he talks about this treasure that he buried, and they go on a treasure hunt to find it. I was bored. And it's not even that many pages, and I was like listening to it, and I guess like it wasn't clicking for me. So there was that one. So I read Squad Goals, and this one is by Erica J. Kendrick. So this is a middle grade, and I was supposed to read this one a while ago and I never got to it. And then my library, I kept waiting for the library to get it, the library wouldn't get it. And then finally I got another library card. So now I'm up to 6 library cards on Libby and loving it because I'm getting so many more of the books that I want now. And so I added one of my new library cards, and it immediately gave me a notification for this one. So I'm like, great, I can finally read it. So in Squad Goals, we're following this main character. Her name is Magic, and she comes from like a long line of cheerleaders. So her grandmother was a cheerleader. Her mom was a cheerleader who then went on to be like a Laker girl. Her dad was a Lakers player, I believe, and her sister, I believe, is currently a Lakers player. So like, I'm Lakers girl. So she has like this family legacy of being a cheerleader. She's not very athletic. She's not a dancer. She's not really into cheer, but she wants to make them proud. And so she decides to go out for the cheerleading squad. Like her school, cheer is a big thing. So they have this special camp you have to go to for like 3 weeks. And so she's doing this camp and getting used to this cheer stuff. Even though she's not great at it, she kind of has to work towards it. And she's like considered like one of like the reject type girls who's probably not going to make the squad. Meanwhile, her best friend, who is also there with her, is doing so well at it, and everybody loves her, and she's getting in with the cool girls, and they're kind of splitting apart a little bit. And then there's this like cute boy who is a football player who likes her, and that makes the mean girl hate her. So typical middle school stuff. I felt like this one was really well done. It was fun. I think for the girls who do like cheerleading, this one is a great option. It was out of print on Amazon, but I did manage to find it on Target's website. So, you know, let's go, people who know kids in that age range, let's go try and run up these numbers so they put it back in print everywhere. But overall, I had a fun time with this story. I thought it was very realistic, especially what it was saying like about body image and stuff, because she's not like the skinniest girl, and maybe she's not the prettiest girl compared to the other ones. And I like how that was done. And I could tell that Erica J. Kendrick really knew what she was talking about. Like, she was a professional cheerleader at one point herself, and you could see like that infused throughout. So that was all my books that I read during the month of March, part 2. And overall, it was a pretty decent month. Like, Lure of the Wilds was the one that was like my really bad one, but I read it at the end of the month. I have new books that I'm excited about reading for April. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I read during the month of March and just what your thoughts were on them. And if you like this video, make sure and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!